Today, I want to discuss the topic of adaptability. Now, what is interesting about adaptability is that it's a behavior. It's not one of the emotions. When we look at the business EQ emotions, the emotional drivers are empathy, stress resilience, and conscientiousness. The behaviors include adaptability. That's good news because what that means is that behaviors can be changed, can be learned and expanded. So let me share my screen with you and read you something about what kind of potential adaptability unlocks for you. So let's look at this. There is something that you may not even know yourself. You have within you more resources of energy than have ever been tapped, more talent than has ever been exploited, more strength than has ever been tested, and more to give than you have ever given. These amazing words by John Gardner are really worth keeping in mind. So let's look at how does it work? How does adaptability work? And what is the connection between that and the fixed versus the growth mindset? So if we look at this image, you see, let's look at the definition of what is adaptability. Adaptability is the desire for and the enjoyment of variety in the workplace, the capacity to keep an open mind and be flexible with different and creative approaches. So not everyone is comfortable with that. Some people like the familiar, the tried and tested. So let's look at what we have here. Do you have a growth mindset? Or do you know everything already? Now, there's a little bit of sarcasm here, and it's on purpose because the more we know, in a way, the less receptive we may be. It could have an opposite effect. Others may feel the more they know, the less they know. So it depends on our response. So how we deal with our knowledge, if we think about it as finite, is fixed. But what about this? If you have a growth mindset, someone asks you this and your answer is not yet, that's a great answer because it means you have untapped potential. There are possibilities for you, and what you need is to unlock that lock, remove it, so you have your potential at your disposal. A very straightforward way of considering this is looking at comfort zones. You've heard comfort zone thrown around a million times, but what is a comfort zone? It's not just a cliche, it's where you feel good, and it could be a very small space, especially because one of the important aspects of a comfort zone is that you want to be in control. And if you don't have the willingness to step out of that comfort zone into that next zone, that red zone says fear zone, that is where you can either move forward or get terrified and go back to your comfort zone. And that is when you are affected by the opinions of other people. How much do you care what people say about you? Do you want to be liked? And what does that do to your willingness to try new things? What does it do to your willingness to fail? And it also indicates a lack of self-confidence. And that is about how you deal with failure. If you call it failure, it's a very different feeling than calling it an experiment or a journey for learning. If you can view it as a journey for learning, and you know exactly who you are and what you want out of your life, you're less susceptible to the opinions of others, and that gives you the possibility of going to that third zone, that green area, where you are comfortable dealing with challenges and problems. And in fact, you welcome them because you see the potential they offer you for expanding that comfort zone. In the learning zone, you also gain new skills and experience, and that builds your confidence, and it builds your trust in yourself and your ability to problem solve and move forward. And the big breakthrough comes when you go into that growth zone. That means you have found a purpose, you know who you are and what you want to be. And that is when you begin to achieve objectives, because those objectives have a purpose. They are stepping stones to where you want to arrive. You begin to set goals because you have a destination you want to arrive at. And you have the energy and the strength to use that potential to make your dreams a reality. You have self-confidence and belief. And that is when you have what we call unshakable inner strength, because now you know who you are, you have expanded your comfort zone. So you've gone from being in a very little space to being in this very big space. Now, how do you do that? Because this is what this workshop is about. These little EQ boosters are how. How do I do it? And here are some suggestions of how you can expand your adaptability. Number one is meet new people with the objective of discovering how do they think, how do they feel, how do they see the world, what is their model of reality. Someone from a different profession, or network within your organization, talk to people in other departments, see what they do, how they do it, understand their perspective. Another thing that would expand your adaptability and your comfort zone is to read for pleasure. Read from a field different from your own. If you're an engineer, read something from art, read fiction, read something for pleasure, because that again will expand your perspective on the world, expand your horizons of what is possible and what's not possible. Third, listen to some of those TED Talks. Pick topics that are interesting to you. Here is a link to the growth mindset. I think you will find this very interesting. Take some time, listen to it. It's just a short talk, 15, 20 minutes, as all TED Talks are. And the other thing you can do is do something new. Sports, meditation, origami, yoga, flower arrangement, painting, dancing, cooking, something. If you're a scientist, choose something in art. If you're an artist, choose something in science. And if you don't like either, go for sports. What that means is that you are expanding your horizons. Now, don't try to do it all at once. Pick one, make a small baby step, and do it consistently. You want to take a small step, you want to succeed, and you want to do it consistently. So, for example, week one, you may set an objective to meet somebody from another department. Don't try to do 100 other things. Just meet that person. Think about what they say. Take some notes. Reflect on it. And then later on, as you get comfortable meeting people and learning from them, you may take on reading. Look for a book club. Join a book club, maybe, where people read and that motivates you and there's some accountability. So step by step is the key to success, not try to do it all at once. So remember, like everything else in the EBW, or the EBW EQ scale, the business EQ scale, you have 1 to 10. And you want to be able to choose where you need to be depending on what you're doing. And you have the possibility of being 1 to 10. So expand your comfort zone. If you're a 1, you might want to try out a 3 and a 6 and a 10. And if you're near the 10, you may want to try out what it's like to be a 3 or a 2. And that is a discovery you make when you interact with other people. If you want to take it further, at ICTN, we offer an amazing workshop on building creativity, create quantum results. You can download the brochure and certainly get in touch with us if you want to take things further. Thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to talk about empathy.